Mhm. Oh, live. Oh, hello. Hi, everybody. It's me. I'm Amanda Call. This is a comic page I'm working on here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to work on this comic page for like an hour or so and hang out with you fine folks and explain what I'm doing. So, last week we started this comic page. Or no, wait, the week before. The week before we started this comic page. I guess we're on part 3 now. I should have changed that in the description. Whoops. Anyway. It's all drawn. I started doing some of the coloring work. I laid down a lot of the base colors and started activating some of them with water so that y'all could see what that looked like. We're going to continue doing that. I probably should get another paper towel, but I guess this one will do for now. Hey, someone saying, thanks for joining me. I'm a little discombobulated. I just got back from Gen Con yesterday, like late last night. I spent all day yesterday traveling, the whole day. It was quite the thing. So just trying to get myself organized here still. I spent most of today. I had to go to work this morning, and then I spent the rest of today just kind of like catching up on household stuff and trying to rest a little bit because I'm so tired still. I'm so tired. But anyway, onward. Ugh. All right. So what I have here, I am super duper tired. It was a very busy week. But that's okay. I'm going to sit here and we're going to work on this. So the colors I have laid down were created by Derwent Ink pencils. They're water-soluble ink pencils. We'll be using these some more a little later in the stream, but first I'm going to activate the rest of what I have on the page there now before I start building up with some of these some more. So you lay them down just like colored pencils, and then you activate them with a little bit of water, which is what I have on my brush here. And then you get this really cool, nice, vibrant effect here. Which is what we are pulling out right now. And I talked a little bit last time, or rather quite a bit last time, about the different techniques and things that you have to look out for when you're using this particular type of medium. But we'll talk about it some more today too. But yeah, I traveled all day yesterday because so the thing was that coming back from Gen Con, like part of the thing is I live in the middle of nowhere. That's a me problem. That's not the fault of Gen Con or anyone else. I live in the middle of nowhere. And so it takes a while for me to like travel anywhere anyway. So traveling to Gen Con, I had to drive and then take a bus. I talked about this last weekend. I had to drive and then take a bus and then fly, and all of that is kind of a lot already. And then on the way back, I actually had it wasn't a direct flight. I had a connecting flight. So that, obviously took even longer. And then I still had to take a bus and drive. It took the entire day. It was my entire day was just traveling home. Oh, yeah, look at that. We got some nice purpley gray going on here. Nice storm cloud colors. That's what I was hoping to achieve here. It's doing what I wanted. I always like it when that happens. But I had a very good time. We were very, very busy. I was there working for Mr. Doug Shute, who was contracted by Free League to run their conventions in the US, because Free League is a Swedish company, so it's kind of hard for them to run their own conventions in the US. So they kind of use Doug as like a subcontractor for their US point person. But it was a great time. We were super duper busy. We sold so much stuff. We sold out of so much stuff. There were a bunch of Free League games that were up for awards, so that was really cool. And of course, they won all the awards they were nominated for, which was even cooler. And it was neat because like one of the company founders and designers and his whole family was there, and his wife is actually also one of the writers, and it was just really cool. And their teenage kids. Their teenage kids were actually really funny. They were good kids. They were fun to have around. But apparently the attendance at Gen Con this year was 70,000 people, which is a lot of freaking people. It was a whole lot of people crammed into the Indiana Convention Center. And that's 70,000 like ticketed attendees. That's people who paid to just get in. That does not include like all of the people, all of the exhibitors and like con staff and convention center staff. It was probably closer to like 80,000 people all told, which is a ridiculous number of human beings. Just way too many people. Hey, Hungry. How you doing? All right, so I have to keep on kind of jumping back and forth because of the thing that I mentioned last time is that this stuff dries pretty quickly, and once it dries, you can't reactivate it. So you have to kind of keep this wet edge so you don't get like really bad lap marks. And so I have to keep on kind of jumping back and forth between different areas so that I don't get those lap marks when I'm working on a large area, which can be challenging. Hey, Spud, how we doing? All right, we're going to try to get this bank of clouds completed here without it getting all dry and scrubby on us. Just get a little wet edge there. This type of media, if you want a lighter tone, do you draw lightly with the pencils or add water to the area? You can approach it either way. And actually, if you realize that it's gotten too dark and the ink is still wet, you can actually just pick it up with the paper towel too. You can just kind of like blot it right off the page, which is pretty handy. don't want this to mix too much over here, so I'm trying to very gently approach that wet edge and not like smoosh them together. I kind of want a little bit of a harder line here. That's better. It's not bad. That works. There, we got some nice different layers going on that now. All right. Yeah, so you can approach it either way. You can either do less, like put down less of the pencil in the first place, or you can just add a whole bunch of extra water, or you can kind of like add a bunch of water and then blot it with the paper towel to make it not quite as dark. You got a few different options. That's looking like a pretty cool, dramatic cloud. I'm digging that. Oh yeah, I gotta do this little spot in here too. So like I said last time, part of the thing too with the one interesting behavior of this medium where because once it's activated and dries, you can't move it again. So a lot of times if you have like a hard dark edge, you want to make sure that you do that before a light section next to it so that you don't accidentally like blend the light section into the dark section. The dark section will be nice and held in place. So you can see where I'm kind of like overlapping the purple sky behind here. It's not blending into it. That's one thing that the water soluble colored pencils do tend to do is that, and what watercolors tend to do too, is that if you go back over them with water, they will reactivate and they will continue to blend, even if you do not want them to. So you just have to approach them a little bit differently. Okay, so like right there, I didn't really want that line to overlap in here, so I'm just going to take my paper towel and go, gone. Pick it right up. My little sound effect. Oh my god, that was very funny at one point. I am prone to making sound effects. It was very funny at one point during the convention. It's toward the end of Saturday, which is a very busy, crazy day. And I made some kind of like moaning, groaning sound. Like I was actually saying something. I think I was talking about something we had run out of that people kept asking for. And I made some kind of sound to the effect of like, when I said it. Jason, whom if you watch any of Doug's shows on Victory Condition Gaming, you've seen Jason. Was like, did I hear growling? Were you growling over there? I'm like, sort of. It may have been growl adjacent. which was also very cool because I had not ever actually met Jason in person before. Like, we have known each other for years online, but it was the first time we were in the same physical space together, which was pretty cool. There were a few people that we finally had that chance this weekend. I also finally got to see Alan Barr in person. Had never actually met him in person either. Okay, we got a big old brush because we want to be able to do this fairly quickly to again not have a lot of those lap marks. Okay, let's not get all gooey everywhere though, please. Right. Yeah, if you are not big on peopling, then that size of convention is probably not going to be your ideal place. It was extremely peoply. Whoops. Whoops. I got a little carried away there. Oh. Okay, well. I've got to be careful. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Just using like the thin edge of my brush to try to sneak into all these little spots around this character. All right, I don't really want that strong of a line there, so we're going to pick some of that up and kind of blend the rest of this down some more. Look, weird lap marks everywhere. Let's just be a little bit less, please. kind of like pooling down at the bottom, which is not really what I want it to do. Stop. I will say that that is one thing where this particular medium is a little bit frustrating, not terribly easy to work with, is over a large open area like this. It tends to do annoying things that I don't want it to do. But that may also just be that I haven't figured out a good way to do it yet, you know? Might be a me problem, not a medium problem is what I'm saying. Okay, I've activated all of the stuff that's on there. So now we're going to go back to actually adding some more of the actual, oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Goodness. Thank you. I'm going to go back to adding some of the actual color. But I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. I think it's coming out pretty good. All right, so we need to get more colors. Yay. Let's get what do we got for a purpley, a bluish purpley color? Okay, I've got thistle, which is like a pinkish purple, and I've got violet, which is actually a bluish purple. I swear I had like another purple, but it may have fallen out of my box and be floating around in the drawer somewhere. I swear I had one that was called Iris that's like between these two colors, but I don't know. I can't find it. Yeah, thistle and violet. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably floating around in my supply drawer somewhere. But we're gonna just start putting some more of this down here. Got some hills off in the distance here. We're going to do just a little edge of pink on the top there. I'm going to throw in a little Payne's gray down here in the bottom. Kind of want it to just be a little bit more dull. I don't necessarily want these to be like super vibrant and competing with the sky. So we're going to do some Payne's gray to give it kind of a dull blue undertone. Okay, that's the only part I need to do that on. Now let's see. We need to do a trying to figure out how the color situation is going to work with these trees. Okay. I'm just looking at some reference images, trying to get a good idea of how I want to do this without completely making it look goofy. So we're going to do a little edge of, some edges of sienna gold and the fuchsia on some of this. So I'm kind of finding those sunward edges to some of this stuff. So we give these like a little bit of a pinkish, yellowish edge, like it's reflecting that nice golden hour sunset light. And we still have a little bit of the green local color, which is like the color the thing normally is under like white light conditions. And you do that for the mid-tone. I'm really eager to see if this actually turns out the way I think it's going to, / hope it's going to. Or if this will just look like a hot mess. We'll find out. All right, we've got some that situation. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be like a little kind of green mossy bit up on the top there. We're going to come down here and do that down here as well. Mossy green, which means I'm also going to give it the little pink and gold edge. All right, so then we need a pretty dark shadow. I'm going to give this a sepia ink because it's pretty dark, but it's got like a little bit of a brown tone to it. And the shadows should also be taking up a lot more space because it's kind of a dramatic lighting situation. Same thing down here. We'll give that the little dark edge there. All right, I'm also going to do a little bit of the indigo blue. Nope, that's sea blue. Wrong one. Try again. Where are you, indigo? Oh, sorry. Deep indigo. I'm going to add a little bit of that to the shadows too to kind of tie it in with the colors that we have in the sky. So let's see how this worked. I'm very eager to see how this worked. So first I'm going to do these hills in the background here. Or rather, I'm going to start the hills in the background because I don't actually want to do them both at the same time because I don't want this dark section to bleed into the hill that is in the front here. So we're gonna do that one and let it dry. So similarly, I'm going to activate all of the shadowed areas first so that we have some nice stark shadows that the other parts of the lit parts of the trees can actually like really pop off against. Taking the little chop brush strokes to try to keep it looking like leaves and not just a solid, smooth blob. All right, cool. We've got some cool shadows going there. Gonna come down here and do the shadows on this little. Whoops, I'm out of frame. This little section. Do 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 do. There we go. All right, now this should be dry enough. It's pretty dry that I can do the hill next to it. All right. Beautiful. All right, let's see if we can get this to do what I want it to do. I wouldn't say it's 100% working the way I want it to. It's like on the right track. I think I can get it to where I want it. Just it's not quite there yet. Hooray! Thanks so much, Higgins. Hope you're enjoying your lurk. Higgins was also with me at Gen Con. We had a great time. Working the Free League booth, hanging out, being con buddies. Spotting each other for meals and drinks and whatnot. Generally just having a good time. And Higgins was really awesome. He brought me a bunch of the magic cards of Lord of the Rings because I was like, when the Lord of the Rings set of the magic cards came out, I was like, oh, these are so cool. I love the artwork. But slinging so much cardboard and paper, so much. Like, oh, I love the artwork on these, but I don't play Magic and I don't even know how to like get all of the cards or anything. I just want to look at them because they're pretty. And since he works at a game store, he was able to get all that sorted for me. And he brought me a bunch of the Lord of the Rings Magic cards in a nice, pretty binder so I can just look at them. They are so pretty. They are just so pretty. That is very appreciated. I'm so excited about that. We slung so much cardboard and paper. Sold out of so many things. It's such a gorgeous set. It looks so cool. And I just love that I mean, for all of the like all the grouchiness from certain contingents of grouchy people out there, I really enjoy anytime that there's a slightly different and like visual interpretation of Lord of the Rings. Like anytime it doesn't look like just either the Peter Jackson version or like a Hildebrand painting yet again for like the 5 millionth time. I just think that's very cool because a lot of times everything Lord of the Rings looks very similar. And it's like, well, this is a fantasy world. It can look like whatever we want it to look like. It doesn't have to look like one particular thing. And some of it still kind of has that similar sort of look to it, but a lot of it actually looks very different. And I appreciate that. Let's see. I am looking now at some of my reference, trying to figure out a good way to approach this panel, because this panel is supposed to have like a lightning strike going on in it, like inside the clouds. And I'm trying to examine and kind of like break down what am I seeing here. So the light is coming from within the clouds. So it's kind of backwards. So like a lot of the parts that I made dark on these clouds are actually what would be light on these clouds, and the dark part is on the outside. Very confusing. So let's see if we can try to start figuring this out. So now this edge of the clouds is going to be a little bit, although actually not all the way the edge. It's kind of like right up to it because there's like a rim light effect that goes on it too. always confusing. I'm going to try not to screw this up. So we're just going in with the Payne's gray. Oh, no, that's sepia. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. Okay, I guess we'll go in with a very light touch of the sepia. That's a thing that can happen. And this one in front kind of like is dark all the way through. Okay. I did not use the correct color that I wanted to use, so we're going to have to kind of roll with that, see what happens. All right, so I want to work in some of the purple and pinks and oranges that are supposed to be in here on the edges. So we'll do some of that on the edge over here, kind of away from the immediate thundery bit. So we got some pink down on the edges here. Blend it in there a bit. Okay, but the lightning itself is like really bright. Really bright. We're going to do just a little bit of blue in the mid-tone here. All right, let's see how that looks. Let's see if that'll get the general effect or if I got to do more to this. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to come out. I'm kind of winging it on this one. This is a very different kind of effect than I have tried with this particular medium before. So let's see what happens. All right, we're going to come in from the other side and work into it to kind of get it to just kind of bleed down instead of bleed and blend down instead of it being like smooshed on a hard edge. Let's see how this works. And we'll give a very light wash on that edge. This might work. We'll see. That yellow came out way more brown than I was intending. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Oh, goodness. Oh, blah. All right. Anyway, we're in the last 10 or so minutes of the stream. So while I continue to work on these clouds, we're going to go ahead and do the YouTube things. And I will remind you that I'm Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel. Here's my YouTube channel. It's what you're watching right now. I do these art streams just about every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where you can watch me work on artwork and talk about my process and answer questions and chit chat about what is going on. A lot of times you'll see me on here working on my comic, which is Age of Night. Age of Night is able to be found and read entirely for free at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. And we're uploading new pages again. Hooray! Age of Night is back from summer break. Well, I think that little section came out pretty nice. I kind of like how that looks. What I am currently working on here is actually a submission for an anthology. It's just a little short story, and things are something a little different than what I normally work on. All right. And what else? You can find me on other social medias, usually as Amanda Call Art or Age of Night. And like I said, if you like Age of Night, if you like what I'm doing here, you can subscribe to this channel. You can always catch me when I'm live. You can also help support me in making art on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Age of Night. And the cool thing about Patreon, not only does it help me out a whole bunch, and I super appreciate it, but you get all your Age of Night pages a week early, which is pretty cool. Okay, that effect is actually working really well now that I have like more of it than just one little lump in the middle. You kind of need the whole thing for it to give the effect. I'd say that's actually working pretty well. And let's see, I just returned from Gen Con, where I wasn't representing myself except like after hours when I was hanging out and talking to people. Then I was representing myself. During con floor hours, I was working for somebody else, but always have business cards in my pocket. And the next convention I will be at is Plastic City Comic Con in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. That's coming up not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, whatever that is. It's like the 18th or 19th, something like that. I don't remember. The 19th. Thanks, hon. I don't remember. Yay. All right. So that is gonna pretty much do it for me for the stream. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. I'd say that actually ended up looking pretty good. It's pretty good. You got lightning going on inside the cloud situation. Found people on Mars 2004. I think generally flying car. What? I have no idea what all of that means. Cool. Have fun with your flying cars. Flying cars, what? And your Mars rovers. There, Jerry Lehane. Sounds great. See pics, Jerry Lehane Mars. No, I think I'm good. Thanks anyway. But yeah, thanks everybody. I will go and rest up, and I will see you all next time. Bye.